Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Will it play on the Steam Deck? That's the question that we're going to answer today. If you've seen any of my videos, we're going to do things a little bit different today. So first off, we're going to only be focusing on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero performance on the Steam Deck. If you're interested in how this game performs on the Rogue Ally, I'm currently working on that video, completely separate video on its own. And once that's complete, I'll make sure that I include the link for that video in the description below. But today, we're only focusing on performance on the Steam Deck. Specifically, I'm only focusing on performance for the Steam Deck OLED. If you've seen any of my other videos, then you know that performance on the LCD and the OLED are pretty comparable, at most maybe a 5 to 10% difference in performance numbers. So if you are an LCD owner, you can expect similar numbers to what you're going to be seeing today. But what we're going to be checking out in today's video is how Dragon Ball Sparking Zero performs on the Steam Deck OLED. We're going to look at, first off, how it performs at the default settings. So once again, I'm going to jump into the game. I'm going to check out the default settings. I'm not going to make any changes, and we'll see how performance goes from there. And then I'm going to play with the settings, and you'll see me play at a couple different setting changes, and we'll see how those setting changes will affect performance. I do want to note that this game does have an FPS lock of 60 FPS. So we're going to see what these setting changes do to get us as close as possible to that 60 FPS lock. I do want to note off the bat that I am absolutely garbage at fighting games. You're going to see that today. So before you come at me in the comments, I'm already telling you now, I'm garbage. I play like a potato, so I already know that. You don't need to remind me. But enough of me talking. Let's check out some gameplay. I'm Jared, and this is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Will it play? So first off, we're running the system defaults where you can see everything was set to high. When jumping into gameplay, you'll see that our CPU usage is around 50 to 60%. GPU usage stays maxed out for the most part, and our FPS is only in the high 20s to low 30s, so we're nowhere near that 60 FPS lock.
Yes, that boy indeed has Saiyan blood. It's no use trying to hide it from me. I can see his tail from here.
So what if he does?
You know, perhaps you need a little time to decide. I'll just borrow your son for a while so you can think over my offer.
Take one step closer to Gohan and I'll knock you out! Back off!
You're a joke!
Yeah!
Darn! Darn!
Moving on, we've updated our settings to a mixture of medium and low. It's only set to low where medium was not a selectable value. Similar CPU and GPU usage, although the GPU usage isn't consistently pushing 99% and does have a few drops. Our FPS does jump to the low to mid 40s, but still not at that 60 FPS lock.
Little! Eat this! Little. Try this.
Lastly, we have everything set to low, and we do see our GPU is now nowhere near maxing out, and it's sitting in that lower 90 percentile, which has led to a slight increase in our FPS, with our numbers in the low to mid 50s, with a few jumps from there. So these settings are almost putting us to that 60 FPS lock, which is the best we've seen so far.
Did you like that? There's a lot more where this came from.
Why are we fighting? There's no point. You can just stop. Look, I'm giving you the chance to end this without violence. We really don't want to kill you. Even if you are evil, you can still walk away. I'm not interested in fighting you just for the challenge. My dad's the one who cares about that stuff. As long as I can remember, whenever I got real mad, things would happen around me that I couldn't explain. Crazy things. Not bad.
Now, I did want to try online play, see if it works on the Steam Deck. Personally, I had a hard time finding a match, and I kept getting errors about my connection quality. When I finally found a match, it did drop me 2 times, referencing a communication error. I'm not sure if this is due to SteamOS limitations. I have read that other people have played online, but for me, I only ran into these issues on the Steam Deck and had no problems getting into online matches with the Ally. So Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, will it play on the Steam Deck? Right off the bat, I'm going to say this is a definite yes. The default settings, we saw that these were set to high, and honestly, it was pretty solid gameplay. Even though we were only seeing our FPS in the high 20s to low 30s, it was still a pretty playable experience. When we bumped those down to medium, we got that jump into the 40s, and when we turned everything to low, that was the best numbers that we saw in the mid to high 50s. Those low settings got us the closest that we were seeing to that 60 FPS lock. I think any of these settings, if you're playing like through the story mode, I think is probably going to be a pretty smooth experience. If you are able to successfully get into some online play though, you're probably going to want the smoothest, best FPS possible. So you may want to look at changing everything to low, maybe even tinkering a little bit more from there to get as close as possible to that 60 FPS if you're looking into online gameplay. But all in all, if you're looking through playing through some of the story, modes and not really focused on the online play, I think that this game plays fantastic on the Steam Deck. If this is up your alley, I think you'll really enjoy this experience. Me, I'm a fan of Dragon Ball, but I've never really been big into fighting games, so you can see it took me a while to get into it, and I just pretty much played like garbage. But if this is something that is really like up your alley, if this is a game that you have been really looking forward to, I think you'll really enjoy the experience on the Steam Deck. If you've already been jumping into Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I'd love to hear about your experiences below. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel because your support means everything. Thanks again, everybody, and game on.